This is the one and only dream Eonju holds dear in today. That dream is shining. Jaehyun allows Eonju to spend the night with Siwoo in the master bedroom, insisting on it despite Eonju's suggestion that they could sleep outside. Grateful for his kindness, Eonju bows in appreciation alongside Siwoo before they head into the room. Jaehyun sleeps on the sofa while the gentle sound of Eonju's lullaby for Siwoo drifts out from the bedroom. Through the narrow crack of the door, her voice softly echoes for a long time. Though it has been years since lullabies were meant for him, the sound stirs something familiar in Jaehyun, and his eyes begin to close as thoughts of his mother surface. The following day passes quietly. They share a meal prepared by Eonju, enjoy watching Siwoo's favorite cartoons together, and later, Siwoo chases after Kami, who tries to sunbathe but becomes annoyed. Eventually, they all nap together and spend the afternoon playing with the toys Jaehyun had bought from the store. During that time, moments pass slowly, as if time no longer holds any meaning. Hours slip by without anyone truly noticing, but the day eventually reaches its end. The time Jaehyun is able to give them lasts only for that single day, and that day now draws to a close. Eonju holds her son, Siwoo, tightly in her arms. Siwoo begins to understand that his mother is crying, even though she shakes her head and pretends she is not. Tears continue to fall freely down her face, and Siwoo gently reaches up to wipe them away, trying to comfort her in his small way. Eonju speaks with trembling fear, expressing how scared she is of a world without her son in it. Siwoo, with a voice as warm as the sunlight, tries to reassure her and give her strength. But her sorrow is too strong, and she breaks down again. Still, Siwoo softly tells her that he will always be by her side. As he begins to step away, Eonju cries harder. She calls out to his fading figure, saying there are still so many things she hasn't done for him, so many meals she still wants to cook, so many of his favorite things she wants to give him. Siwoo looks back at her one last time with a gentle, loving smile, and then disappears while expressing his love for her. Eonju smiles through the tears, whispering back that she loves him too. Her face carries both pain and warmth as she clings to that final moment. She stays still, unable to lift her head, as the warmth that Siwoo left behind slowly fades away. In that quiet moment, Jaehyun watches. He thinks to himself that hope is like a flower that blooms only in despair. That is why, perhaps, people who carry hope must stand in the darkest places of sorrow. Jaehyun gently speaks to Eonju, telling her not to lose heart, not to think this is the end. He tries to breathe new hope in her heart. He tells her that if there is even a small chance, they will try again and again, as many times as it takes. Eonju cannot speak, but she listens. That fragile hope reaches her. At that moment, a system interface appears, announcing that Eonju's trust has reached 100, and she has gained something new: primeval vitality. Elsewhere, Sunjiap explodes with anger, cursing loudly. The twins stand beside him, their faces dark with worry and regret. All their gear and savings are gone. One of the twins speaks up, explaining that many others also lost everything, and the only thing they seem to have in common is that none of them went when people were being gathered at the front gate for military duty. Even those who went and returned seem to be fine. The other twin, frustrated, mutters that he should have just gone with them back then. Sunjiap turns to him sharply, asking if he's trying to say it's all his fault. He reminds him that they all agreed on their decision and argues that following those kinds of orders without question would have been foolish. The twin, caught off guard and scared, quickly apologizes and nods, unsure of what else to say. Sunjiap stands in silence, deep in thought, as a cold realization settles in his mind he might actually get expelled. The idea isn't just a paranoid fear. It's something with a real precedent. He remembers the rumors floating around before. A single known case where someone crossed the line by trying to mess with a minor. The act was discovered quickly, and that person was kicked out of the safe zone without hesitation. Not long after, the same individual was found dead on the street. No one knew exactly what happened, but everyone believed it was the natural outcome of being cast out in a world this brutal. Sunjiap feels a chill run down his spine. Even after the intense giant hunt, he sees that many survivors continue to gather around Jaehyun's apartment complex. The number of people has grown, and a small, structured community is starting to take shape. In a place like this, where survival depends on unity and order, he understands all too well that if he keeps going against Jaehyun challenging him or showing disrespect, he could easily become the next one to be thrown out. And in this world, being expelled is as good as being sentenced to death. His thoughts drift to his younger brother, Sungmin, who chose to go alone to the gathering at the front gate while he stayed behind. Sungmin ended up having a good experience there. He met strong survivors, got to talk to people, and was even gifted a firearm. That one decision had clearly worked out for him. Compared to that, Sunjiap now feels the weight of regret sinking deeper into his chest. At the same time, Jaehyun watches the three of them closely, Sunjiap and the twins, from a distance, using the ability known as the Eyes of the Absolute. Through those eyes, nothing is hidden from him. He already knows every struggle Sunjiap has faced so far and understands that it's only the beginning. For Jaehyun, this isn't just about punishing someone for stepping out of line. This is a test, one that will determine what kind of treatment Sunjiap and his group will receive going forward. In a community that's slowly forming structure and leadership, how they endure consequences now will shape their roles in the future. Suddenly, a system interface flickers to life behind Sunjiap, invisible to others but clearly present for him. A new quest appears on the screen: hunt 20 goblins within 24 hours. The reward is minimal, a small amount of experience points, but the punishment is brutal. Failure will result in 1 minute of extreme pain. A warning that this world has its own rules and its own justice. For Sunjiap and the twins, this isn't just a task, it's a message. If they want to continue living in this safe zone, if they want to avoid being cast out into the dangerous world outside, they must prove their worth. Primeval Vitality, one of the rare rank skills, is now part of Jaehyun's arsenal, acquired as a reward when Yeonju's trust reached 100. The skill dramatically boosts regeneration based on the severity of injury, allowing someone to recover far more quickly the more serious the wound. Jaehyun hadn't expected such a reward. He thought perhaps he'd receive a small stat bonus or minor support item, not one of the target's actual skills. It catches him off guard. Still, despite how powerful it is, he doesn't see it being immediately useful. After all, he's not a frontline fighter, nor does he plan to leave the safety of the Haven anytime soon. As long as he remains within its protective boundaries, there's little risk of getting hurt. However, the real takeaway isn't the immediate utility, it's the potential. The fact that a person's skill can be gained as a reward when their trust hits 100 is an important discovery. His thoughts shift to Moon Byongo, whose trust level is nearing 100 as well. Jaehyun knows that Byongo's awakened ability is Teleport, a movement skill that allows instant travel to any visible location. If he manages to obtain that ability, Jaehyun wonders if he could use it in conjunction with his Eyes of the Absolute, which let him observe vast areas with perfect clarity. In theory, as long as his mental strength is high enough to sustain the ability strain, he could move across a wide battlefield in an instant, or reach critical areas in the blink of an eye. That leads him to another system revelation: the forward base. The system interface outlines that it's a safe zone that can be established outside the Haven, temporarily offering the same protective authority. However, it only becomes active if someone ranked Knight or higher stays there. It can be destroyed if left unprotected and occupied by unauthorized parties for more than a day. Jaehyun concludes that he could, in theory, teleport to a forward base if it's within sight, meaning if his eyes can see it, he can go there. But the feasibility depends entirely on whether his mind can handle the pressure. Mental strength becomes the bottleneck. So he resolves to change his approach. Instead of offering skill proficiency as quest rewards going forward, he will now prioritize mental strength enhancement. If he's going to unlock the full potential of his evolving abilities and system powers, he needs the mental resilience to support it. Later, Yeonju approaches him, her voice calm but determined. She calls out to Jaehyun, asking him to let her go, saying she will personally bring his family back. Her words surprise him. Before he can respond, she continues, explaining that the mission should have started the day before, but was delayed because of her. She expresses deep gratitude that he gave up his time, valuable and irreplaceable in a world like this, just to support her emotionally. Because of that, she says she wants to repay him not out of obligation, but because she wants to. Her resolve is clear. She will not sit idly by when there's something she can do to return the kindness that saved her heart. Jaehyun notices the clarity in Yeonju's eyes, the way they seem to reflect his unspoken thoughts with perfect accuracy. It's as if she has read directly into his heart. She understands the emotions he can't put into words. Though he tries to brush it off with a light comment, asking if he appears that impatient, he still feels a bit self-conscious. He is grateful, truly, but also slightly embarrassed to have been so transparent. Yeonju, however, answers with calm sincerity. She assures him that he doesn't seem impatient at all. If anything, she says were she in his position, she would feel the exact same. After all, family is everything, something precious and irreplaceable. She fully understands what it means for someone to give up even a single day in times like these. The time Jaehyun gave her, even just one extra day with Saiwoo, is something she treasures deeply, and she expresses her gratitude again, her words full of genuine warmth. As Jaehyun looks at her, he notices that her gaze no longer burns with rage or despair. Perhaps because of Saiwoo, even though their reunion was brief and incomplete, her heart seems steadier now. There's a quiet strength in her. Her eyes are calm, clear, and filled with trust. Jaehyun offers her his thanks for her understanding and instructs her to head to Unit 2901 to wait with Dongan's party. He says he'll join them shortly. Yeonju gives a respectful bow and acknowledgement before taking her leave. But there is a reason Jaehyun hasn't sent anyone directly to see a mine station just yet. The area is no longer stable. When the giant Cyclops emerged during the previous incident, it caused severe destruction. The Siamine subway tracks had collapsed, and much of the station's underground structure was reduced to rubble. Reaching it now requires a completely new route to be carved out. To solve this, CO Yejin had been working tirelessly since yesterday, sending scouting mice through the tunnels in search of a viable path. Using the eyes of the Absolute, Jaehyun observes their progress. What catches his attention is unexpected. One of the scouting mice has undergone a transformation. It's no longer ordinary. The mouse has evolved into a tamed giant mouse, now at level 7, and moves with surprising agility and intelligence. Jaehyun is momentarily surprised. He suspects that this might be the result of CO Yejin's new abilities after she was officially registered as a retainer. But his interest quickly turns to concern when he sees the giant mouse is not alone. A pack of zombies is chasing it, surrounding it from all sides. Jaehyun considers using a gas explosion to wipe out the zombies if the mouse seems doomed, but just as he's about to act, something unexpected happens. The mouse begins weaving through the zombies, using its newfound speed and small size to slip through gaps they can't block. Its movement is sharp and precise, almost intelligent. Jaehyun feels a rare sense of elation watching the tiny creature's desperate sprint. It's so close to the exit. If it can just hold out a little longer, it will reach safety. But just as the mouse nears the exit, the ground shakes. A massive presence emerges from the earth. A land shark, level 23, bursts from below and, with a swift, merciless motion, devours the tamed mouse whole. Jaehyun's expression turns grim. The reality of the world outside the haven hits hard again. No matter how promising something seems, survival is never guaranteed. Then he realizes something else. The mouse was just reaching the edge of Nampo Station, a location only a few kilometers away from their base from home. That monster, or others like it, could be much closer than anyone realizes. The thought sends a sharp wave of urgency through him. He can't afford to wait. Jaehyun approaches a woman he refers to as Team Leader Kim and expresses his gratitude for all the effort she has been putting in. She responds casually, saying that it doesn't really count as hard work when they're being paid for it. But as she looks at him more closely, she notices something different. Jaehyun seems hesitant, as if weighing his next words carefully. She senses that whatever he wants to say must be serious, given how unusual it is for him to hesitate like this. He remains quiet for a moment, then finally tells her that he wants to borrow Yahello for a while. The statement catches team leader Kim off guard. Her eyes widen slightly as she quickly realizes the implication. Jaehyun is asking her to handle everything alone while Hyun is away. There's a brief pause before Jaehyun adds with a faint smile that he's leaving things in her care for the next 2 days. Team leader Kim takes a moment to absorb this, then calmly brings up the topic of compensation. Jaehyun responds by saying he will pay her double. At the mention of double pay, her demeanor shifts completely. The earlier tension disappears, and she becomes visibly pleased. She accepts the task with quiet enthusiasm, her mood lifted by the unexpected bonus.